Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good evening, dear doctors. This is Dr. Rabia, and today I will be taking a session on statistics for AKP, which will be a very basic session, just building your concepts so that you can solve the questions in AKP exam. Here I'm sharing the screen. Let me know if any problem with the screen or voice. Hopefully the screen is visible to all. Please someone acknowledge me. Screen is visible. Yes or no?
Yes, doctor, we can see.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so now the challenge is statistics for AKP. Okay, this is my little notes just to make things easier for you. What you need to interpret in the exam of statistics. You will be given a study, all right, and you have to interpret the results of the study. And the study, it will be showing you some associations between a disease and some risk factors or some intervention and the disease. The study will be like that. And at the end of the study, the end of the paragraph, you will be given with the results and you need to interpret that. So the basic questions of AKP are like that. Okay. So there will be a disease and the risk factor or an intervention will be given and the disease. Okay. So first of all, know something about the study designs, that what are the studies and what are the different study designs. So basically I have divided it into two types, the descriptive studies and the analytical studies. Descriptive studies, further we say they are either survey or the qualitative studies. Okay. Analytical studies are the experimental studies or the observational studies. And among the experimental studies, we have the randomized parallel groups and randomized crossover groups. So RCT or randomized control trials, you will see most of the questions in your AKP exam from these experimental studies. They will be giving you the experimental studies and you then interpret that. What are the observational studies? Observational studies can also be given in the exam, and in observational study, you will see cohort studies, cross-sectional studies, and case control studies. Not visible here, but it's the case control study. So this is from your previous knowledge of your TAS task exam. I'm just continuing that. Okay, so about the data analysis. Now, this is the thing which you need to practice for your exam, how you analyze the data. How can you say that this intervention has a certain association with the disease, either a positive association or a negative association, or a risk factor? If there is a risk factor, either it is causing a disease or either it is not. That is not a risk factor of the disease. So we have different statistical test, which is also given in your AKP master course book, but I have a better table for you and I want to show you that table, which I found easier. So I think I should show you that table. Here is the table. This is choosing a statistical test. Okay. Let me magnify the screen. Okay. So there is a predictive variable and they have written categorical or quantitative. So on one side, you have the categorical data, and on the other side, you have the quantitative data. If you take the categorical data, you say, what about the outcome? What about the outcome? The outcome is categorical or quantitative. So if it is a categorical data, you choose a non-parametric test. What is a parametric test and what is a non-parametric test? The one test which is using any of the parameter, as the name indicates. The test which uses a parameter is a parametric test, and that don't use a parameter is a non-parametric test. So for a categorical data, you refer to a non-parametric test. But if you have a quantitative variable, then you go for the parametric test. You do a comparison of the mean test. How many groups are you comparing? If you compare two groups, go for the t-test. And if more than two groups, then among the two, they say one group or more than one group, then it is ANOVA for one, and for more than one, it is MANOVA. So this is basically all RATA, but it makes things easier. If you just follow this flow chart, you can easily select the test for the analysis. This the statistical parametric test. Okay. Second is this was about the categorical. Second is the quantitative. Okay, quantitative. Now, what about the outcome variable? It is categorical or it is quantitative. If it is categorical, go for the logistic regression. If it is quantitative, then again, how many variables, how many predictor variables? One or more than one. If one, then it is simple regression. If more than one, then it is multiple regression. I will share this table. You see this table and you write with yourself one time, just one time, write with your pen, and then you will be able to memorize it. So this is just a table. Now I'm coming towards the main topic, which is again, okay, the test we did. Now, how you interpret the studies. This is the main thing in your exam. So there are different parameters, how you interpret the confidence interval. And what is the confidence interval? I will be telling you in a while. P-value, odds ratio, and relative risk. These four parameters you use, we will be using in our study to interpret the results. So don't worry about the confidence interval much, because it will in most of the questions you will find they have given 95. And what does it mean? It means that it is the interval of two numbers will be given to you, number A and number B, and they say this is a range in which you can say confidently that the value, the result, it lies in between these two values. This is called the confidence. Like I can confidently say that the results of my study lies between this value, suppose 1 and 10, the result will be in between. This is simply the confidence interval, and most of the time in most of the study they have given you 95 confidence interval. Okay, so you don't have to do much about this confidence interval. Okay, just make a concept that what is it, and you have some basic background knowledge in your mind that what they want to say, that if they say confidence interval 95 means I'm 95%. Please mute yourself, please. Mute yourself, please. 95% mean I'm 95% confident that my value lie between 1 and 10. Okay, this is called the confidence interval. This is simple. Okay, p value is the probability value. I have a full slides, upcoming slides. I will show you that what is the p-value. Significant p-value, simply you need to know about more than 0.05 and less than 0.05. Simple is that probability value. Okay. The main thing which will be coming in your exam is the odds ratio and the relative risk. So this is the main thing you would be able to interpret this. If you interpret these, then that would be very easy for you. Okay, odds ratio. Coming towards the odds ratio. First of all, we simply say what is odds. If they say odds, simple odds. Odds simply means, just keep in your mind, odds means some comparison. Okay, we are doing some comparison, and then that comparison, suppose in one group and in second group, then we will be taking ratio of them, and that ratio, then we will be interpreting either it is more than one or either it is less than one, and that will be giving our results. If odds ratio is equal to 1, 1 means no association between that uh, intervention and the disease, or risk factor and the disease. Odds ratio and relative risk, they are almost, you can say, um, they are almost same things, but one is used in the cohort studies and one is used in the case control study. That is the difference. Okay, relative risk, it is used when you move, you say that the risk factor, you move forward in time, and the odds ratio, you go, for that you go back in the time. So here I will be explaining that what is the odd ratio. It is used in the public health research to report the overall effect of the intervention, and it allow us to interpret whether an intervention works or not. So this is the parameter you want to see that our intervention has worked or not. That is, there is a certain action that leads to a particular outcome, and there are two possible outcomes for us. And the two possible outcomes, for example, this, I have taken just example. Okay, this is not the real data, just the example that getting the flu shots is one possibility and not getting the flu shots is another possibility. So I have taken 100 people one group and 100 people another group, and I have used encouragement to get them the flu shot, and another group who are not encouraged to get the flu shots. Okay, so here, this 100 people who are encouraged, 80 got their vaccine and 20 don't got their vaccine. Here I put a cross. In the other group who are not encouraged to take the flu shots, this is the control group and this is the intervention group. 55 they got their flu shots and 45 they don't got their flu shot. Okay, so first I will be calculating the odds, that is 80 who are vaccinated and 20 who are not vaccinated, that is 80 divided by 20 is equal to 4, and then this 55 divided by 44 is 1.22. So I will be taking the ratio of these 4 divided by 1.22, that is odds of the exposed to odds of the unexposed. This becomes 3.3. So now this 3.3, this number gives us a lot of information. And what information is hidden? You look here. This is 1. I have made this table. This is 1. This is less than 1. This side is less than 1. And this side is more than 1. Always remember, if the odds ratio is equal to 1, it means there is no association between encouragement and getting the flu shot. If it is towards the positive side, it means the encouragement has made 3.3 times people more vaccinated. Okay, and if it is on the negative side, it means it has a negative impact. It means you have educated the people for getting the flu shot, but it is the outcome is negative. So it is towards the positive side, so it is more than 1. 3.3, 3.3 means 3 times more. So this is the intervention is effective. So if you get this question in your exam, and you get this odds ratio more than 1, that is 3.3, then you can say our intervention that is encouraging the people has a positive impact on getting the flu shots. Okay, got it? Clear? Or should I
Yes,
repeat?
clear.
Yes, okay. So in exam, whenever they given you a study, just straight away go to the results and see what they have given in the results. Either it's odd ratio, relative risk is also same. I will also be giving you example in a while. And see, either it is 1, it is more than 1, or it is less than 1. And then interpret, just make reasoning in your mind that what information they have given you in the exam, that we have given this intervention and this is the result, and this 3.3 means 3 times more positive towards the positive side. It means it has a positive impact. All right, so then you can select among the option very easily. Okay, what's next? Okay, here is another example. This is the effectiveness of a flu shot in reducing the likelihood of getting the flu. Now, the statement is a bit different. Okay, in the above example, you find encouragement as the intervention, and then the getting the flu shot as a result. Now we give the flu shots. This is another example, and you see either after getting the flu shot, someone is getting flu or someone is not getting the flu. Okay, now again you have two groups. Okay, 100 people who had the flu shot and 100 people who do not have the flu shot. Among these 100 people who got their vaccines, 30 developed flu and 70 don't. And among those 100 who are not vaccinated, 45 developed the flu and 55 don't. So 30 divided by 70, odds is the comparison. This is 0.43, and 45 divided by 55 is 0.82. Dividing this, it is 0.52. Odds ratio is 0.52. Now see, this is less than 1. Now, what information you get? It means that you have vaccinated the people and the flu, it has gone towards the negative side. It means it has, the value has gone towards the negative side, but it is a positive impact for us. Are you getting my point? I just want to make you clear that sometimes more than 1 is a positive result. Like in this case, more than 1, 3.3 is a good signal for us. And sometimes less than 1, like 0.52, is a good signal for us. I have drawn this here. Look, this horizontal line. The center is 1. Center, if the odds ratio is 1, it means there is no association between flu shot and getting the flu. If it is more than 1, it means you give the vaccine and people are getting more flu. Okay? This goes towards positive side, but actually the result is interpreted as negative because getting flu is not a good thing. Okay? Here you get 0.52. 0.52 is towards the negative side. It is going towards the negative side, but it is a positive outcome for us because getting less flu after getting the vaccination is a good thing for us, is a positive impact for us. So this is how you interpret. Sometimes more than 1 is significant, sometimes less than 1 is significant, but you have to correlate that more than 1 or less than 1 with your main statement of the study, that what they want to say you in that study. Either they are talking about some risk factor and disease, or they are talking about some other things. So always relate that. Okay, sometimes more than 1 is significant, and sometimes here less than 1 is significant for us because getting less flu, okay, less disease among the people. Clear? This was about the odds ratio. Now coming towards the relative risk. Relative risk is also interpreted in the same way as the odds ratio, okay? But it will, most of the time, it will be showing you a relationship between a risk factor and the outcome. Suppose a risk factor is smoking and outcome is the lung cancer. Just example, okay? Wait a second. Okay, so relationship between a risk factor and the outcome is interpreted in terms of the relative risk. It tells either a relationship exists or not exist. And it also gives you information. Relative risk, this parameter is very important. It not only gives you, it not only tells you that there is a relationship between this risk factor and outcome, but also tells you how strong it is. It also tells you how strong it is, okay? Two information it provides you. And the example you can keep in mind, smoking and the lung cancer. And for this kind of study where you see how much smokers got the lung cancer, this relative risk parameter is very useful in interpreting the studies, okay? One group is exposed to intervention or risk factor and the other is unexposed. Now again, coming towards the example, and this is your example, that there are 1,000 kids who receive oral hygiene education at this school for preventing dental caries, and another 1,000 kids who do not receive education for preventing dental caries, okay? Education on oral hygiene. So among those who are educated, they have 975 healthy kids and 25 got the dental caries. And those who are not educated, 950 are healthy and 50 got the dental caries. So now you see this 25 is the diseased. We divide this 25 by the total number of kids. That is 25 divided by 1,000 is 0.025. And this 50 who got the disease among all 1,000 kids who are not educated is 0.052. So you just take the ratio of these two numbers and this becomes the relative risk. That is exposed population divided by the unexposed population, and it comes out to be 0.5. This 0.5 is a relative risk, and again we draw this on this diagram. This is 1. 1 means no association. More than 1 means greater risk. Less than 1 means lesser risk. So here you got the value 0.5. So suppose 0.5 I plot here, and 0.5 means there, if you educate the kids, then there is 50% less chances of getting the dental caries. Suppose if the value came out to be 0.25, it means 75% less chances. So it not only tells you that the relationship exists between this parameter and the disease, but also tells you how much, like 0.5, 0.25, जितना भी परसेंटेज इसका आएगा, according to that you can say कि इतना परसेंट लेस हुआ है या इतना परसेंट लेस हुआ है या 50% लेस हुआ है. Okay, so this is a very important information which this um, RR is going to give you in your exam. 1 means no difference. All right, now I will be showing you some slides. Wait. Here. Okay, this. These are just the definitions to make your concepts. What is risk? Risk means the number of cases divided by the number of subjects. Number of subjects mean the total population and number of cases mean the disease. So disease among the total population is the risk. Similarly, odds is the number of cases divided by the number of none cases, okay? Not all the people, but the none cases. It is just a comparison between who got the disease and who don't got the disease. Relative risk is risk in exposed divided by risk in unexposed. Odds ratio is odds in unexposed by odds in unexposed, as I have shown you with the example. Numbers needed to treat is 1 divided by risk in unexposed. Okay, for number needed to treat, I have remember this like that कि जितना आपका नंबर नीडेड टू ट्रीट का वैल्यू ज्यादा होगा, जितना हाई होगा, द मोर हायर द वैल्यू ऑफ NNT, your treatment is less effective. Just write one sentence with yourself. The higher the number needed to treat, it means your treatment is less effective. That's it. And just remember the formula. Okay. Some other slides. Okay, here outcome measures for the observational studies. If you have cohort studies, mostly relative risk is given. You interpret the results in the terms of relative risk when the study is cohort. And if the study is case control, most of the time you will be finding the odds ratio. They almost give the same information like the association between some risk factor or intervention and the disease, but usually cohort studies for RR and case control studies for OR. Okay, another slide. What is the relative risk ratio? This is the RR means the incidence of outcome with exposed divided by the incidence of outcome unexposed. Okay, so here is the interpretation. Just remember this, that if it is equal to 1 means no risk of the outcome. If it is more than 1 means increased. More is a greater number, so greater number with increased, and 1 is a lesser number, so lesser number with reduced. Okay. Okay, if they have given you like what is the correct interpretation of RR of 1.36. Okay, time is running out. If you lost this connection, you can rejoin the same link. All right. What is the correct interpretation of RR of 1.36? And these are the options. 1.36, the formula is 1 minus this number and multiply by 100. Okay, remember this formula. 1 minus RR bracket close and multiply by 100. So it comes out to be here 36. अगर relative risk 1.36 का दिया जाता है, इसका मतलब है कि आपका risk 36% reduce हो गया है. एंड इन सम स्टडीज आपको ये परसेंटेज दी हुई होगी कि इतने परसेंट एक डिजीज कम हुई है, तो उस परसेंटेज से वाइस वर्सा आप फिर उसका रिलेटिव रिस्क भी निकाल सकते हैं और फिर उसको प्लॉट भी कर सकते हैं स्टडी में. ठीक है. ओके, नाउ दिस अनदर स्लाइड. Okay, this is the formula. You can write with yourself. Relative risk reduction का formula है 1 minus relative risk multiply by 100. So if in exam you given this relative risk and they ask कितने percent disease reduce increase या reduce हो गया है, you can put the values in the formula and you get this. The risk of disease is increased by 36%. ये इस formula से हमारे पास आ गया. ओके, नाउ एग्जाम में आपको इस तरह का दिया होगा. इसको जूम करती हूँ. ये एक ओरिजिनल स्टडी है, वहां से मैंने लिया है. सपोज ये एस्ट्रोजन, आई डोंट नो व्हाट द स्टडी इज अबाउट. इट इज अ रिलेटिव रिस्क ऑफ कार्डियोवास्कुलर डिजीज अमंग करंट यूजर्स ऑफ conjugated estrogen along with progestin compared to non-users. सिंपली इसमें यहाँ पे आपको ये बताना चाह रही हूँ कि आपको इस तरह की एग्जाम में दिस टाइप ऑफ स्टडीज गिवन और उसका रिजल्ट अब यहाँ पे ये 0.39 है. सिंपली 0.39 इज लेस देन 1. यू नो, लेस देन 1 का मतलब है रिस्क रिड्यूस हुआ होगा ना. इट इज लेस देन 1 इज रिड्यूस्ड. ओके, it means this intervention, suppose estrogen or progestin, whatever you are giving, it is decreasing the risk. Okay, so in exam it will be given like that. Simple interpret like more than one or less than one. This is simple, this is not that much tough. Okay, then the odds ratio. Odds ratio is odds of exposure in the disease divided by odds of exposure without disease. Okay, this is the formula. जिस तरह relative risk का मैंने बताया था, same is for the odds. Another slide. Okay, if it is 1, if odds ratio is 1, it means there is no change in the frequency of exposure. Means there is no association between the intervention and the outcome. If it is more, it means increased frequency. If it is less than, if it is more than 1, okay, if it is more than 1, it means increased frequency. If it is less than 1, it means decreased frequency. All right, and this slide, another slide. Okay, they say how big should the relative risk or odd ratio be for us to be impressed? In RCT, we would be satisfied with a small increase. अगर आपको RCT दी जाती है तो उसमें small increase is satisfactory for us. We would be impressed if there is a small increase. But for cohort study, it should be more than 3, and for case control study it should be more than 4. This is just a tip, just some extra points that which value you consider very significant, or you can say I'm impressed with this relative risk or odds ratio if I get this in my study. If more than 4 odds ratio in a case control study, it means I'm impressed with this study. Okay, some more slides I have. Yes, p-value, I forgot, sorry. What is a p-value? P means probability. It is a statistical measure which is used to determine the likelihood that an observed outcome is the result of a chance. Okay, don't go into complicated definitions. Just remember this table, that if what is significant, what is not significant, what is very significant, and what is highly significant. These are the values of the p values. Okay, remember that less than or equal to 0.05, that is 5%, is always significant. Okay, and more than 0.05 is always non-significant. Just remember this 0.05. Okay, more than 0.05 non-significant, equal to or less than is significant. If less than or equal to 0.01 is very significant, and 0.1%, that is less than or equal to 0.001, is highly significant. The more lesser values are more significant than the higher values. The higher you go, the non-significant it become. Okay, just remember this. Baki sticking with the definitions is useless at this point. Okay, just remember the values, just interpret what is significant, what is not significant. This is enough. Okay, some more slides. This one, yes. Interpretation of odds ratio. Odds ratio are relative risk estimates. Okay, odds ratio and relative risk estimates, these are almost same, but one is used in the cohort study and the other in the case control study. As I have shown you, what they want to say, the risk multiplier. Odds ratio of 5.64 suggests that the risk is itne times multiply 5.64 multiply risk with exposure. Okay, this 5.64 is more than 1, so that's why it is giving you the significant value. Percent relative risk is equal to odds ratio. Okay, forget about this, but you can remember this formula, that if they ask the percent relative risk difference, the formula is odds ratio minus 1 multiplied by 100. The same formula which I have shown you for the relative risk reduction, that is that was the 1 minus that r multiply by 100, and here it is opposite, that is the odds ratio minus 1 multiply by 100. Whenever percentage is given, you can convert it into a number, and whenever a number is given, you can convert it into a percentage. Okay, what else? Yes, see this. An odds ratio of 1.2 means there is 20% increase in the odds of an outcome with a given exposure. This is just the interpretation, okay? Odds ratio of 2 means there is 100. This value is coming with that formula I have shown you behind. That is the odds ratio -1 multiply by 100. उससे आपको ये percentage मिल जाएगी. And then you can say कि odds ratio of 1.2 आपको क्या देता है कि वो 20% increase कर रहा है. ठीक है, इस तरह 2 का मतलब है कि वो उसको 100% increase कर रहा है. Similarly, a relative risk of 0.5 means the risk is cut in half. Okay, 0.5 1 से कम है और 50% पे जाता है. So these are all the you put in the formula and you get the percentages. I have shown you the formula. Okay, what else? Relative risk versus the odds ratio. Relative risk is more accurate measure of the incidence of an outcome, okay? And odds ratio provide researchers with an estimate of relative risk in situations where the total population is unknown. If you are getting this concept, okay. If not getting this concept, just passing the AKP exam, just remember one tip from my side, that whenever you see a study in your exam, go to the results and just start interpreting the odds ratio or relative risk or p-value, and see either it is more than 1 or it is less than 1. Then read the statement, that what they have compared in the statement, are have they given the intervention and they're talking about the disease, have they given the risk factor and talking about the disease, and then draw this on that horizontal line, 1 less than 1 more than 1, put the value and then start interpreting. Less than 1 means decrease risk, more than 1